Hi everyone, this is John Dickinson from motionworks.com.au, and today I'm going to show you how to make this particular look. This is that cool look where you have light moving across the front of your 3D logo or text. Now this is ProAnimator text, but I'm also going to show you how to do the same thing in 3D Invigorator Pro. So let's get started. Switch across to the work comp. And if we take a look in the Effect Control panel, under Layer Maps, so you've got Layer Maps 12 down, you can see that Layer Maps 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 have these extra parameters, offset X and offset Y. Now, this particular look isn't light at all. It's actually an animated reflection map or environment map, and you animate the reflection map by using these parameters here. Now, at the moment, we haven't got a reflection map on our glass, so let's just go into ProAnimator and set that up. Now, there's a couple of ways to add a reflection map to our object. The first way is to come down to this box down here and click, and then choose a reflection map. I'm going to choose Punchy Reflections from the Zaxworks Environments folder. And this applies a reflection map. You can see I can increase the reflectivity. But the thing about using this particular reflection map is it won't work with the offset X and offset Y. We actually have to load a layer into the After Effects timeline and use that in order to get this to work. So let's cancel that. Come back to our project panel and let's find that file. So we go to Applications, Adobe After Effects, Plugins, Zaxworks, ProAnimator, Zaxworks Environments, Punchy Reflections, and click Open. So we've actually brought that reflection map into After Effects. So let's just drop that in the timeline, press Command / and just turn that off. We don't need to see it in order to be able to use it as a reflection map. So I'm also going to lock it and I'll make it shy. Okay, now we can go back into ProAnimator. Actually, first thing we have to do, and if you've been watching my Making It Look Great DVD, you'll know that I often forget to do this. The first thing we have to do is click on our layer map, in this case Layer Map 1, and choose that layer as our layer map. Okay, so now we can go back into ProAnimator. Select our material, and from the pop-up menu, choose Layer Map 1. Now we can increase the reflectivity. Let's make it quite bright. And I'm just going to select one of these objects here, come back to Material Setup, and you can see it's already applied as a material to the front face. I've got a different material applied to the sides, and that's because I actually have a bump map applied to this material, and it looks really good on the front face, that bump map, but it doesn't look particularly good on the side face because it gets stretched. And I'm not going to go into that now. It's just one of those issues with the way Invigorator and ProAnimator maps to your objects. But if you're wondering why I have two materials here, that's why. So for now, let's just take a look at number 1. So we'll click OK. And now you can start to see there's a bit of a reflection happening down here in the right-hand side. It looks okay. I've got a bit happening up here as well. But check this out. When I drag the offset X value, see how the reflection map is moving across the text? Very, very cool. There's a couple of things that you can do with this. One is you can actually just move it and find the perfect reflection. You're not limited to whatever reflection ProAnimator gives you when you choose the first option for reflection maps, which is to click on that box and choose a still image. This way you can actually choose the reflection that you like. But what we want to do is actually animate the reflection. Now, you don't need to animate a reflection if your text is moving, if it's changing position or if it's rotating, because the environment will automatically be moving across the text. This is really an issue when your text has fully resolved, when it's hit its mark and it's no longer moving anymore. The problem with that is the text can look dead, the logo can look dead, but by animating the offset, you can have that light seemingly move across the logo and keep things alive and punchy, looking very professional. So what we're going to do is just set a couple of keyframes for that. So I'm going to come back to 0 and set an offset X keyframe. Just make that 0. Go to the end of my comp by hitting the End key and change that to about 25. Now the reason I don't change this to a huge number is because if you make it a really big number, you're going to have too much movement. There'll be way too much light moving across your text. You want this to be really subtle. And if I just drop the resolution here to half, and drag through this, you can just watch what happens. Just there's a nice subtle movement of light that moves across the front. I mean, it's really up to you how fast it moves. Probably it depends on what's happening in the background as well, but I like that move to be fairly subtle. Now you can also see there's offset Y, and if you want to move the map in the Y axis up or down, you can use that, but I tend to use offset X most of the time. You could do offset X and Y if you wanted to move it diagonally across the text. And that's all there is to it. It's as simple as that. So let's switch across to Invigorator now and just have a quick look at how it works in Invigorator. Just going to open up the Invigorator comp. Now there's a few subtle differences with this. Let's just hide these guys. It works pretty much the same way. You can see I've got punchy reflections in my comp here. So let's go into the setup window. Click on options and just find our material. Just double click that to load it. Okay, so there's no layer map. Right, so we go back into After Effects and there's my layer maps. Now you can see here that layer map 1 and layer map 2 have offset. There's no offset X or Y, there's only offset. So this offsets it in the X. ProAnimator is a more recent product than 3D Invigorator Pro, so hopefully we'll see an offset X and Y in future versions of 3D Invigorator. But for now you can see you only have layer map 1 and layer map 2 with offsets, and you only have an offset parameter. So let's just go and choose Punchy Reflections, and go back into our setup window, choose it from the pop-up menu, increase the reflectivity, and there's our materials. So let's click OK and drag the offset value. Very cool. And take a look at this. When the reflection moves across the text, it actually reveals the bump that's been applied to the material, which is very, very nice. So that's how you create the look. Very simple, very easy in both 3D Invigorator Pro and ProAnimator, and adds a huge amount of professionalism and style to your graphics. Be sure to check out Making It Look Great 1, my new DVD for design and production techniques for Adobe After Effects and Zaxworks ProAnimator. But for now, this is John Dickinson from motionworks.com.au. Have fun, be creative. I'll see you soon.